Well, welcome back to Crown's Crypto Cave. It is a glorious and very cold, very extremely cold day over here in Helsinki, Finland. I do want to be wishing you the best and the happiest before we get into this one right now, because we have plenty of very interesting things to be speaking about, mostly with Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe even look at a few altcoins. Perhaps I will keep it or save that for tomorrow as well, as we'll go over a bit of long-term analysis today, perhaps. Anyways, with that said, I will be gone for the rest of the day after recording this video, so if you are trying to reach me, I probably won't be too responsive for the next day or day and a half, but I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. And with that said, oh yes, we also have a sale going on right now. You can find the link right here because it's Independence Day. No, it's actually, or it was my birthday, I suppose. I want to say a massive thank you for all of the well wishes during that time. It was rather special and I was sincerely humbled by it. And I also want to let you know that, of course, we have 20% off of everything going on right now. Always do not jump into any one of these programs at all whatsoever. Make sure, please to understand that. Watch the promotional videos that you can find over here on that link, and they'll describe in detail who they're for, who they're not for, what to expect. And if there's one thing that I could say right off the bat is that if you're looking at any one of these programs and you're on the fence, then that's probably a good sign that it's not a good fit. The reason why I say that is because these are like, especially, you know, these babies right here, the TA program, which is my personal baby, in the options program as well, obviously, are going to be very long time commitments and also financial commitments as well. So I do want to make sure that, you know, if you are actually going to get into it, it's, you know, relevant to you, of course. So with that in mind, let's get over here to the market data tab. And like I said, or I might come back a little bit later and explain them a little bit more in detail. But again, the videos there will do a good job of that. Again, make sure that you actually have the time to invest in them. They're not magic pills, and understand that if you actually do put in the effort over time, we found that typically people get to about where they want to be within about a year to a year and a half, sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter, but that's what I found over the past few years. Anyways, what do we see over here? That is of new and of interest. We do see big, massive open interest. To use battle alliteration, has taken a new leg up. We do have new highs on this rally for the open interest, and this does support the overall continuation phase on price action. Now, I don't necessarily have a strong opinion on whether we see this over the weekend, but this very likely does get resolved coming into next week. This is a very good setup right here. Yet again, another higher low if you do want to be looking at it from this perspective, which should naturally match up with obviously Bitcoin price action. So the price action is supported, that is good. And then also funding rates are starting to rise up a little bit. We actually did see it drop a little bit from yesterday to today on the global scale, but we do expect to see something like this, obviously, when Bitcoin is going on a, you know, more than $21,000 rally now, from $29,000 all the way up to $51,000 high yesterday. I guess that's about $22,000, huh? Not bad at all. And I suspect that this will get a little bit higher, probably like 3x times higher before we do start to look for, at least before I start to look at this as potential, you know, major turning point. But for right now, that is to be expected. And we actually see even some exchanges net flows taking Bitcoin off exchanges right now, almost double digits right there too, 10,000 Bitcoin. So I guess that would be 5 digits. Anyways, with that said, let's get into the fun stuff right now. And let's start off with, oh man, there are actually many important things to be aware of today. Okay, what happened in the last 24 hours that is of great importance? Well, yesterday's daily total close was not just a daily, it was also the 3-day for spot price action. We closed as a nice girthy and engulfing bullish candlestick. Yes, that's right, a candlestick right here. And this would give me a bias coming into the next 3 to 6 days for continuation into the mid, probably even upper $50,000 territory. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say something a little bit crazy. Bitcoin probably is going to test around the prior all-time highs, assuming that the lows are in, of which I provided my analysis on that. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago now. It's in the long-term analysis playlist, and the video is titled "The Low Is In." It's a bit of a clickbait title. Obviously, there's no way to ever be 100% sure about something. Everything's, you know, non-zero probability. But at the end of the day, I do provide my reasons right there, and then you can perhaps use that within the context of your own analysis as well. But with that in mind, we do see that the 3-day is, well, doing all sorts of very interesting things right here. 3-day RSI consolidating right around the edge of the bullish control zone. We even had some hidden bullish evidence right here. Made a slightly lower low on 3-day RSI with a higher low on price action. And I would be looking for this to very likely populate the next move, probably coming into, like I said, yeah, the next 3 to 6 days, actually. On top of that, we do see that CME did close the week at 50,700, a very girthy closure, most importantly, specifically above what would be your gap fill right here, which I suspect that we've I strongly would suggest that we've already seen the reaction from that, fucking obviously. And then more importantly with that, this is a clean and clear break and a setup again for the week to come. Now, could we see a break over the weekend? Yes. However, you typically do know my thoughts on that. I am not too enamored with weekend price action. A lot of the time you do see kind of flighty, floaty stop hunts going over the weekend. But if we do see a leg up over the weekend, specifically above 51,500, I'd say that that breakout is very likely to be real. Anyways, with that in mind, we also did close the daily in a rather precarious position as we are playing at the hidden bullish evidence right here on daily CME, also back in the bullish control zone and nice and healthily back above the exponential on this as well. And guess what? Volatility is on the motherfucking ground right now, by the way, currently at about a 7.94 percentile. So what does that mean within the current context of the price action? Well, let me give you the last few times that we've had, anywhere down near around this level of volatility, of which, just for context, coming into, what was it, like late July, early August, right, on this breakout right here, volatility was actually higher than what we're looking at right here, to be fair. And this was actually several degrees higher. In fact, it was about a 25 percentile compared with a single digit percentile right here. So this move, this setup coming out of this consolidation, very likely to be a degree or two higher than what we saw in the resolution of this one. On top of that, I can bring you back to the last few times that we saw examples coming in from October 2020, and this one obviously did lead up to a massive move over the next couple months. Again, October to basically December of almost 100%, actually about 92.73% over time. And then of course we have this example right here. This one led up towards almost about a 43% move almost immediately. As you can see, the result was rather stark, and then obviously that did just lead into some higher lows over time. And can we pull up another example other than that? Yes, of course we can. Where was the last example on CME specifically where we saw this low volatility for this long? And that was way back on over here from the reversal in May 2019 from about $4,000. Realistically didn't really see the highs until about $14,000 a few months later here as well. So this is, for what it's worth, at least in my opinion, a very, very big setup. And of course, I should denote that volatility is direction neutral. So while there is, while I do have upside biases, mostly based off of trend and momentum, and then that's going to be paired with volatility in this case, where would I start to look at this as a massive trap and play around with the bear odds in this case, calling this a bull trap? Very, very obviously the same sort of area that we actually did speak about over the last few days here, and that would be $47,000 below there. Hey, then we can talk about bull traps. Do I think that's what's going to happen? Probably not, but that would be my condition for invalidation on this continuation phase, probably to the deep $50,000 territory, probably even this month as well. Anyways, with that in mind, we are healthily low volatility right now. So my sort of general trading philosophy, if I'm just being as clean and clear as possible, is trend, volatility, momentum, actually in that order as well. And right now, what do we have? We have an uptrend. We have higher highs and higher lows. In fact, we just confirmed another low right here, or higher low right here. And guess what? We just closed a new high. So by fucking definition, it's going to be a higher goddamn high. And then on top of that, do we have momentum? Yes, we do. We have hidden bullish evidence right here, back in the bullish control zone, back above the exponential. That's not bad. And then on top of that, even the daily jewel on CME has lots of downside curvature. Now, we haven't gotten an upside signal just yet, but it is bouncing off the fib level right here as well. And the DMI is supporting, so that is good. And that, that very likely does follow through, maybe on Monday, Tuesday, something like that. And then obviously volatility, well, once you're looking at a mean reverted indicator like this and it's this low, the only way is, or at least the most likelihood thing, is to see expansion. And in this case, I would be favoring trend continuation to the upside, with tentative targets in mind, realistically somewhere around about 55 to 56,000 bucks, maybe short-term pullbacks somewhere right around there, and then continuation, dare I say, to new all-time highs. Do we want to do something interesting today and talk a little bit about more long-term analysis, or should I save that for tomorrow? Maybe I save that for tomorrow. It actually is rather interesting, but I'll bring you over here to spot price action as well. Obviously, spot price action does trade over the weekend. CME does not, which is why I don't necessarily have a strong opinion on whether we see this breakout this weekend or this coming week. But if we are going to go into the short-term timeframes right in over here, what would we say about this? Well, pretty much the same thing as yesterday, right? We did get our first stab into the backside of that blue box territory. First pass rejected. We did say that a short-term pullback would be very, very likely from that. And what happened after that? Well, to me, I mean, this is still, we have a low, we have a high, we have a higher low, we have a higher high. Is this our next higher low? Perhaps it is. We did see a little bit of regular bearish divergence right there, but you could argue that's already played out. That would have already hit my technical target. And again, this was coming within the context of declining volatility right here as well. So, just marching it one step up at a time, I would be using this next level right here, which is also in line with 618 Fibonacci retracement. right around about 49,300 or so as a bit of a short-term bias buster, meaning that if Bitcoin does come back down below there, especially on like a 2-hour or 4-hour time frame, then I would be looking for Bitcoin to come back down somewhere around about 48,500 or so. But as we have been marching up the short-term and medium-term levels for failure and invalidation over time, once again, we can do the same thing as Bitcoin did actually, yes, on spot actually as well, did close on new highs on this rally. Did it close above 50,000 bucks? Yeah, it pretty much did. 50,026 on BitMexico to be exact. And we could just use yesterday's low as that point. And again, yesterday's video title was "This move will very likely catch a lot of people off off guard," because a lot of people are looking at this as a rejection right here. Just as an aside, whenever you see something like this, when price action is grinding up against resistance like resiliently for, in this case, like 2 weeks at a time, it's a really, really good signal. And whenever you see something like this, it's usually a really good opportunity, and it's mostly a fake out for people who maybe they just don't know. We want to give people the benefit of the doubt, obviously. Anyways, let's go back into the short-term time frame and see what momentum busters are saying. Not that I really trust them all that much over the weekend. I'd expect to see some sort of hidden bullish evidence, but we do not if this is going to be our next higher low. Let's see, maybe on a buy hourly, we'll have it right there. Yep, it does actually right there. But again, I really don't trust signals too much over the weekend. I imagine hourly doing the same thing as well, and indeed it is. So if you are playing the short-term time frame trend, you're looking at about 49,700 or so, as long as you're above there. Generally sideways and up, and continuation is the name of the game. Hidden bullish evidence on the hourly jewel, and I think the buy hourly is doing the same thing as well for hidden bullish evidence. But again, I want to see volatility start to expand, and that's really when I would look for this next expansive phase with price action, very likely moving to the upside. Again, as long as about 48,500, especially holds. And if you want to be, extremely by the book, 47,000 bucks below that is your bull trap, and you can expect much lower prices, like 42 to 43,000 bucks, and maybe beyond over time. Again, I'm not angled towards there, and I don't necessarily think that that's going to happen. And also give you another chart over here as well. Bitcoin CME did close above the topside Toronto band for the first time since when? For the first time since that massive girthy move on the 26th of July, way on over here, which spun off this next major run. And realistically, we haven't seen a general good trend actually above the topside Toronto band in a while. So typically when I see something like this, again, this would be another way of looking at volatility with the Bollinger Bands plus momentum. What do we see on daily MACD? It actually is going to cross up with any sort of a closure above 52,375, and of course we have trend here as well, obviously. So with that in mind, I do look at this as most likely to continue on that schedule. And now I would be using the topside Toronto band on the daily for CME specifically to kind of judge the continuous phases of this in more real time, meaning that as long as we're closing above the top side, which is currently 50,666, great number right there, the devil's fucking dick. And I would essentially be looking for a continuation as long as that condition is met. Again, not trading over the weekend, so once it opens up, late Sunday, early Monday, that's when I'd be paying attention to this. But for right now, a very good setup for the week to come. And over here on momentum oscillators, what do we see? We see a daily Stokes pointing back up, rejecting, most importantly, getting out of the bullish control zone, so it holds it right there. That is consistent as long as we're above 48,550. 12 hours going to be showing what? 47,700, good. And 4 hours going to be showing what? It's going to be showing 49,900 as well. Now let's go look at spot price action as well. Obviously this is going to be a bit different over the weekend, but 50,661 on the 4 hour is the magical number right here. Keep these numbers in mind, by the way. Hourly is going to be showing 49.9, and 12 hours is going to be showing 49.5, and daily is going to be showing basically 49,000 bucks as well, and same sort of signature here as what we did see on CME. Anyways, with that said, I would feel comfortable saying that, if we start to close, or Bitcoin more importantly, starts to close 4 hour totals back above about 50,650 or so, which actually would be on a new high right here, I would look for this move probably to happen over the weekend. Next sort of tentative targets that I'd be looking at would be based off of this Fibonacci extension right here. Again, keep in mind, I generally would be looking for this move to just kind of, have a continue, just be short-term pullbacks on whatever resistances that we do see. We already saw off on the, on the one spot 272, so I wouldn't expect that one to provide anything more. If Bitcoin does retest it again, I'd really be looking somewhere around here, around the 414 and the 618. That's really where I'd be looking towards, and that's between about 56,000 bucks and 57,000 bucks. over time, of course, not going to happen all in the same day, or, well, then again, you never know. But looking at it over here, we can also match this up with, of course, volume profile. And what do you know? We are pretty much almost in no man's land. We are officially above, on a closing basis, the last high value node right here at about 49,500. And, you know, if you're looking at it from this perspective, you are essentially looking at Bitcoin's next major area of interest, basically between about 55,500 to about 58,000 bucks, which is pretty much around our prior all-time closing highs. From a weekly closing basis. So looking really, really good right there. Again, whenever you see a volume signature like this on a stair-stepping format, this is really, really orderly, really, really good, and something that you can apply in other markets as well that is very well tested. Again, you know, this always does come with the non-zero probability that things can fail on the other side. But if you're looking at the daily, 47,000 bucks is the obvious area right there. Big warning signals below 48.5. Until those two things happen, I'm just looking at short-term downside moves as new opportunities. Anyways, okay, maybe I do save the long-term analysis for tomorrow because this video is going to be a bit too long. But interesting stuff right there. And yeah, you know, Bitcoin just chugging its way along. Let's go check out Ethereum really quickly, because Ethereum's actually very, very interesting as well, and a little bit of an easier chart as it has been. What do you know? This is the same sort of signature that we just saw populated for its first close above the topside triangle band on Bitcoin CME, and of course Ethereum's been doing this for 1, 2, 3, 4, working on 5 days now. So this is a pretty damn good move right here. And just for reference, right, this has been thus far about an 18.5% move. You know, not bad. And as long as Ethereum's closing above the topside triangle band, of which it just got another bullish engulfing delta closing above there, which by the way is probably going to be also present on the 3-day. Actually, no, it's not necessarily above there just yet, but the 2-day certainly is. The 2-day is, which also did close above the topside triangle band as well. Very likely does imply that we will see continuation. I'll be looking somewhere around the last little slew of highs that we saw in May 2021, actually just a few months ago. It's a few notorious months ago, right? About 4,100 or so. And realistically, you know, I was speaking with a few friends before this, and you know, if now that we're in the TA nerd portion of this video, because I know that most people turn the shit off after 15 minutes, but if you're asking my opinion, what I actually think is going to happen, here's what I think is going to happen. Look, we've pretty much already seen it with something like Cardano. It already made its new highs, and it just keeps on going on. You see with Solana as well. Same shit, same shit. Those are the strong ones there leading. Ethereum's next, and then probably Bitcoin, something like that. And then everything kind of falls in varying degrees of strength and weakness. But for right now, Ethereum looking pretty damn good for continuation. And again, you know, where would I start to change my mind on this one? Below about 3,800 on a daily, I would start to look for, you know, a decent sized pullback before anything else. But for right now, this is looking good. Again, daily MACD, but back with its bullish crossing right there. Obviously, that's been consistent for the last few days. Again, you see a very similar signature over here towards CME. Anyways, going back to Ethereum just really, really quickly. So again, you have trend continuation. So you got trend, you got volatility on the Bollinger Bands, and you have momentum on the MACD. Can we do the same thing over here? Yep, I think it's a little bit less obvious actually on this chart, but we can do the same thing, I suppose. And again, looking at BBWP, it is starting to expand quite significantly from a very, very low level. I should add, this one got down to actually literally below 1 percentile. In fact, now currently at about 66.5 percentile. And I would really look for this one to get 90 plus percentile before the next sort of, you know, major potential highs put in. And again, even at that point, you know, the trend is still your friend. So I would be looking for higher lows on the pullback. The pullback probably just is going to be absolutely devastating. Anyways, looking at daily RSI right here, again, playing out multiple drives of hidden bullish evidence. I'd say that the good portion of that's already played out, to be fair. I would be looking for a pullback down to the exponential at some point, and that's probably going to be the next higher low. But for right now, this continuation, daily Jewel got the positive curvature 31st of August on that last major breakout to the upside. So again, just multiple momentum also disagreeing with each other, plus trend, plus volatility. And essentially, I'd be looking somewhere around 4,100 to 4,150 or so, probably a short-term, medium-term pullback right around there. And then, you know, judge the higher lows, and that perhaps is going to be a setup for the weekly and actually really the monthly as well. But here's what I would want to be aware of coming into the end of this week, actually for Ethereum specifically. It will have a chance to populate hidden bullish evidence right here. That will be confirmed with any sort of a closure, especially above 3650. That's going to look really good. And we even will see volatility on the weekly expand as well, alongside, you know, strong signals right here, and even the weekly Jewel also following through with this as well. So that would look like a really, really good setup. And Ethereum will actually even have a chance to close on new all-time highs for the weekly here too. So if it does do that, or how would it do that? Any sort of a weekly closure above about 3,900 would do it in my eyes. And I would be looking for new all-time, or I don't know if I'd be looking for new all-time highs, but I would be looking for a retest of prior all-time highs, probably in the next week or two, and then very likely new all-time highs maybe around end of the month. Again, here's what your monthly looks like on Ethereum, and the second that we saw this one, especially on the 200 bands, I think it shows up rather well. This is a really fucking strong chart right now. It actually even looks better on the bi-monthly as well, which we'll show soon enough. But again, you see the same sort of signature over here with the 200 bands closing above for half a year or 7 months at a time right there. We just got our first closure above in August, now working on September. And by the way, this is also consistent on the bi-monthly as well. Yeah, I would feel quite comfortable saying that Ethereum very likely makes new all-time highs before end of October, probably even this month as well. It looks good. It looks very, very good. 3-day, nope, we already looked at that one. Let's go look at momentum oscillators over here as well. Let's see what we got going on. And looking at daily stocks remain nice and high as long as above 3680 or so. 4 hours is going to be showing what? 4,006. Hourly is going to be showing 3920 or so. And 12 hours is going to be showing what? 4,000. So a little bit of a split between them all. So let's actually go down to the short-term time frames and map out some general levels, of which it's left all my prior ones, so we have to do some new ones now. Where the new ones be? Well, right around here on this spike low right here, as long as especially Ethereum's above 3,700, that looks pretty damn good. But even then on a pullback, I don't necessarily think that it'd get around there. This one actually becomes a little bit more difficult in this case, but I would be saying that 3850 would be your first sort of warning signal on Ethereum for the short-term time frame specifically. And if you do start to break this level, let's say on like a 2 hour, then yes, I would be looking for a move somewhere between about 37 to 3750 or so, and probably tries for a low area right there. And if that did happen over the weekend, that would look like a pretty obvious stop hunt, and that would look like probably a pretty damn good setup, again, coming into early portion of this next week. Anyways, for what it's worth right now, I mean, this is literally just continuation. I mean, this is, what is this? That's your high, that's your low, this is your higher high. Is this your next higher low? Perhaps yes. I mean, it's just continuation right here. It looks good. Do we have hidden bullish evidence? We would have an ever so slight touch of it, I suppose. Maybe it shows up better on a bi-hourly. Yeah, actually does show up much better on this time frame right here. And this actually makes me a lot more confident saying, hey, if you do want to play the short-term time frames, 3850 is the pivot right now. Until that's broken, this is just the next higher low right here. And oh, what do you know? Hidden bullish evidence populating itself once again, and that very likely does beget another try back up somewhere above 4,000 bucks. Do we see that move happen over the weekend? Again, I just don't have strong opinions on that. My opinion is on this week to come. That is really where I'm geared towards. So let's talk about maybe more long-term targets for this one, because this one's so fucking close to already closing on new highs for the weekly as well, which to me is your breakout anyways. But we can do something like this. Let's say, okay, let's just postulate here for a bit, that Ethereum does close this next weekly on new all-time highs. Basically anywhere above 3,900 would look really fucking good for this. And if you want to be super technical, you'd say 3,950 or so. Then I would be looking for the next sort of melt up move to find resistance somewhere around about 5,100. Oh my God, 5,100 or so, and play at a bit of a sideways consolidation for some time between the 414 and the 272 right here. And then long term, maybe sometime around end of year. That's at the point when, I mean, if you're looking at it from this perspective right here, 7,500 is going to be an area of interest, and then 10,000 or 9 to 10,000 actually are going to be some big ones. That is, of course, more long term, but Ethereum is the more obvious chart right now. It's the more advanced chart right now in comparison to Bitcoin. Obviously, Cardano leads Ethereum in that regard as well, and then even Solana leads that one as well. But all of them pretty much play together, as you probably know. I'm sure anyone who's been here even for the last year or so, or especially people who've been here for the last like 3-4 years, you've seen this many times before, right? The market pretty much moves together in varying degrees of strength, and you can kind of look at Bitcoin as like the general index if you're familiar with traditional markets, and everything kind of gets judged in relationship to that. Been less and less true over the years, to be fair, as the market kind of does bifurcate and evolve. But I still do kind of look at that as a general rule. Anyways, we're 23 minutes into this video. Maybe this is a good point to shut this one off right now. I did say I was going to go back and explain the programs over here. Again, just watch the promotional videos. They're going to go into great detail about who they're for, what they're about, what to expect. And again, I strongly encourage you to watch those promotional videos if you aren't interested, just to make sure that it's applicable to you. If it's not, it's all good, man. It's all good. I'm not going to be mad or anything. Obviously, we want to make sure that people who actually get into these things are actually going to fucking benefit from them, because we don't want to like sell something to someone that they don't need. That's what the merchandise is for. No, just kidding. Although I do fucking love my merchandise, I will say that I abuse the ever-loving shit of my Bear Jesus sweatshirt, especially now that it's cold as all hell, and my hat every goddamn day, man. I look notorious around the city. Anyways, with that said, I want to wish you the best and the happiest. I'll be back on tomorrow, but like I said, I will be away for the majority of the rest of the day. Take care, and Until next time.